Back this giofvcks, and of course, you see it. Go blue, baby, go blue. You already know what it is. Go blue. Um, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video or this live stream is to discuss reciprocity. Um, and I'm also drinking my water, taking my medications, and enjoying the sunlight that's coming through. Very thankful, very grateful, very blessed to have the sunshine. So the reason why I'm doing this video is because literally next Saturday, October 15th, your boy, or should I say your man, is turning 30. And that's a big deal because I did not see myself getting to 30. I'm gonna just keep it real. I didn't see myself getting to 25, quite frankly. So getting here on my way here is a big deal to me. Hey, good afternoon, Streya. How are you? Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. But I didn't see myself getting here. So one of the gems that I've learned through my 20s is the simple fact that reciprocity needs to be a part of your relationships. Point blank, period. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's with your family, your friends, your romantic partners, your significant other, the people that you work with. Things need to be reciprocal. And of course, I'm gonna have a Michigan trash. Like, come on, y'all. Like, go blue. Go blue. But yeah, so like one of the things that I had to learn in my 20s was just the simple fact that things have to be reciprocal. I cannot be constantly pouring into somebody else and I'm always going the extra mile. I'm checking in on you. I'm giving to you. I'm helping you. I'm supporting you. I'm loving you. I'm caring about you. And then I'm not getting anything out of it in return. You're not caring about me. You're not loving me. You're not supporting me. You don't check up on me. I can't do that anymore. You know what I mean? And a lot of us grew up in households where we were people pleasers. And that's why it is so hard for us, for some of us, to get out of that mindset of constantly overextending ourselves because that's what we grew up doing. A lot of us grew up with dysfunctional parents and families and households. A lot of us were parentified where, despite the fact that we were children, we were literally parentified and put in adult situations where we had to be responsible for grown folks. So in my situation, I'm very upfront about it. I love my mom, love my granny, but it is what it is. My mom has always had issues of her own that she had to deal with, that she still deals with. And it's not 100% her fault. However, it was never my responsibility to be trying to take care of a grown woman as a child. And just keeping it real, I didn't really have a mother. I didn't really have a father. So I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you were there, you birthed me, but for that parental mothering, fathering, piece, you were not there. And you've never really been a parent. You've been more of a big sister or a sibling, and I've always been made to be responsible for adults. And that was never my role. That was never my responsibility. And I'm healing from that now as an adult. So it's like now you look at those type of relationships that you started out with from your dysfunctional upbringing. And then unfortunately, a lot of us will play that same relationship style out in our adult relationships with other people. And you'll notice a lot of your so-called friendships, you're constantly in this caregiver role, and that's not your role. It's not my job to take care of you like you're some child. You know what I mean? And thank you. Congrats on turning 30. I feel similar as a 24-year-old trans girl. about aging. Yes. Well, congratulations to you being 24 and getting up on your way to being 25. I totally feel where you are coming from. I'm happy that you are still here and you are thriving. Um, and Beard is giving Wolverine vibes. You know, it's funny because thank you. It's funny because Michigan, that's our mascot is a Wolverine. So the Michigan Wolverine. So hey, thank you. Um, but yes, and it's like I'm done with that. Like I'm not here to care for you and treat you like a baby. I'm tired of dealing with people that literally expect you to pour into them 24/7, yet they don't know how to be friends themselves. They can go days and weeks without ever checking in on you. I mean, it's just been eye opening for me. A lot of it's been eye opening throughout my 20s, especially the last 4 years of my 20s. And then every time I have like a surgery or a procedure, I just sit back and I'm like, I don't really have the friendships that I want for myself. And that's just keeping it a buck. I don't have that. You know, people shouldn't have to make statuses and go all out to receive love and support when you know your friend had a surgery. That doesn't make sense to me because it's like anytime you're going through something, I'm there for you. I'm always there for you. I'm literally checking in. Hey, how's everything going? I'm tired of doing all of the legwork. Basically, I have to reach out to you 24/7 to see stuff. And then, like I said, when it's time for you to reciprocate, you never can do that. And then you wonder why I'm distant. This is why, like, at this day and age, at almost 30, I don't have time for those types of people anymore. If you don't know how to reciprocate, you're going to see less of me and you're going to hear less from me. And this isn't about me, you know, being mean or negative, but it is about me reclaiming my own time and energy and pouring into what pours into me. It doesn't mean that I'm never going to talk to you or I'm never going to see you or I'm not going to be your friend, but I'm not going to be overly extending myself when you are lackluster and you don't even reciprocate any of these efforts. And it's a lot of people where I'm just like looking back at things and it's like, I don't have the friendships that I want at all. I don't have anybody that's like me, basically, caring about me. Because when I look at how I show up for people and then how people don't show up for me, it's just something to think about. And that's where I'm at right now. You know, a lot of people, like, yeah, it's a lot of people where I'm just like, I'm not about to be dealing with it anymore. And reciprocity is something that needs to happen. And a lot of people, unfortunately, do not know how to do that. And they need to learn how to be friends. And it's really wild, especially coming from people who grew up with siblings. Like, I don't get how you grew up with siblings and you don't know how to be a friend. And then here I am, I grew up as an only child and I know how to be a friend. But you, who literally had brothers and sisters, you don't know how to do that. Says a lot. That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay? It says a lot. And it's just like, I don't have time for it anymore. Another thing that, you know, on my road to 30 is if you see that a person is not treating you the way that you want to be treated, get rid of them. Stop over engaging and trying to explain, you know, because a lot of times you'll reach out and tell them, like, hey, you know, I feel really like you don't care about me. And then they'll give you some bogus ass excuse for why their actions are justified. So instead of going back and forth about it, just get rid of them. Stop dealing with them. I'm here to tell you, it's going to save you a lot of time if you are able to accept people for who they are when they show you the first time. It's going to save you a lot of time. There's no need to be trying to go back and forth with trying to be friends with people who don't want to be friends with you. Okay? It is what it is. Another thing when it comes to this situation is it's okay to recognize that even after years of knowing a person, that they're not who you thought they were. It's okay to take accountability and acknowledge that. people grow, people change, and people do become distant over time. And it is what it is. It's another thing. I'm also tired of constantly carrying people, right? Because like I said, when the shoe is on the other foot, I can't lean on you, but you always leaning on me. Okay then. So like it's a lot of y'all where like I said, you're just not gonna hear from me and I'm just going to be very distant. Because I don't have time for this anymore. I don't. And a lot of people aren't going to believe you until your actions speak for you. So it's kind of like that saying, I'll show you better than I can tell you. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm about to be 30. I don't have time for this shit. And a lot of y'all are in your 30s still acting like immature ass kids. So it's just like, I just don't have time for this. I'm just not going to be dealing with you. Because it's just like I said, I'm over this. You know, you every time you got a problem, I'm there for you. You need this, you need that, I'm there. I'm cash apping this, I'm cash apping that. I'm on the phone with you, listening to you go through whatever you're going through, trying to give you advice, suggestions, being a listening ear, you know, being a shoulder for you to cry on. You know, I'm doing all of this, and it's like, what have you ever done for me? Y'all don't never reciprocate a damn thing. And it's annoying. Yes, thank you. Know your worth. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you. Yes, know your worth. Preach. Exactly. No time waste. Hello, Nicholas. What's going on? Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, it's about knowing our worth. I mean, it's just, and again, it's about knowing our worth, and then also stop wasting your own time. Because like a lot of these people, this has literally been a track record of me knowing them for years, and this is the same behavior that they have been giving for years. And when you notice that, it's just time to back away and stop dealing with them as much. Because that's just it. If you've been like this our entire, like the past 10 years, obviously you don't have any plans of improving or changing your behavior. Because you've been doing this for a decade. And it's a lot of people who are like this. So I'm just at a point now where I'm good on you. I'm good. And I don't have time anymore to try to make it seem like it's not that big of a, it is that big of a deal. And it's a lot of people where I'm just like, yeah, you just won't hear from me. Like I said, I wish you well at the end of the day because I do care about people, but I'm done overextending myself. Another thing that I started thinking about too is I would rather be known, I would rather have a really good solid group of people, like 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 solid people that I talk to on a consistent basis and hang out on a consistent basis and really have that reciprocity, reciprocated relationship with, than to be known by 10, 20, 30, 40 people. And then out of that 10, 20, 30, 40 people, when you really need somebody to talk to or you really need help with something, you can't even call on 2 out of that 10, 20, 30, 40 people. Meanwhile, that 2 to 3 or that 4 to 5 people, you can call on every single one of them and they're going to be there for you the same way you're there for them. That's what you call a friend. Not all of this, everybody knows you, but then they can't help you do a damn thing. I mean, my goodness. Ooh, take your vitamins, take your medicine, drink your water. Ooh, I'm trying to do better at it every day. But yeah, it's just a lot of stuff where I'm just like, I don't have time anymore to entertain it. You know, I grew up. That's really what happened. I grew up. Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I grew up and I'm just here now literally knocking at 30 and just seeing like these are not the type of friendships I want to be dealing with. These are not the type of people that I want to be dealing with. I need something else. And that's from everything from relationships to friendships, platonic to romantic. I need something else. Okay, you're 28. Cool, cool. Um, and at 28, you know, when I was, hey, this is the perfect, to me, it's always the perfect time to learn a good lesson. So you can avoid making the same mistakes that others made. So hopefully these videos where I'm talking about stuff, you all are able to also learn from my mistakes that I've made numerous times over and over again. So you can avoid it because you don't have to go through this. You don't have to waste your time with people that are wasting your time. You don't have to do that. You can avoid a lot of this by having boundaries, knowing your self-worth, and believing people the first time when they show you who they are. I'm gonna just keep it real. And it's a lot of people where I'm like, yeah, I'm not about to be dealing with you. Yeah, it's been great. It ain't been great. It's been mediocre. Let's just keep it real, and I'm over it. Um, oh yeah, the Michigan Wolverines. That's what I'll be rapping. Um, but so I just had to really take ownership of that. Another thing that also kind of made me see this is another thing is like I wish people would just be direct instead of coming up with all of these bogus excuses. Just keep it real. Um if you don't want to hang out with a person, just say that. All of this coming up with all of these bogus excuses, but then we see you on social media going over here and going over there, but then you just told me that you couldn't hang out because you were sick. Y'all be lying and then turn around, be on social media at the club. Like, y'all is something else. Just say you don't want to hang out with me. Just say that I'm draining to you or whatever. Keep it real instead of sitting up lying and then being caught off guard when people address you and come direct to you. It gets old. Good afternoon, D. What's going on? Thank you. And then thank you for tuning in. How are you? And then Nicholas, the hard part is when you do well sometimes, you are a threat to other and they follow you direct but respectful. Exactly, direct but respectful. And you are telling the truth, Nicholas. You know, sometimes it is like it's like you said, you when they see that you are going on and moving forward with your life and making things happen despite all of the trials and tribulations, all of the obstacles you've gone through, people do be low-key threatened, jealous, and hateful and spiteful that you keep moving forward while they're still sitting over there mingling in nothing and then constantly trying to throw their negative toxic energy at you. But it's you tell them it like it is. You really have to protect your energy. You really do. You have to be mindful of the people that you hang out with, the people that you surround yourself with. I'm gonna also keep it real. You also have to be mindful to the music that you're listening to, the TV shows, and the media that you're taking in, to what you're drinking and eating. Everything, in my opinion, has an impact on you, whether it's mental, physical, sexual, etc. It has an impact on you. You got to be mindful because you could be around people that low key don't like you, and that's another thing that I kind of get sick and tired of, especially in my opinion. Dealing with neurotypical people is I don't get the point of hanging out with people that you don't like. Like what? Like you got people who will fake an entire friendship, fake an entire relationship, knowing that they don't like you. What is the point then? You didn't have to bring me into this. It's weird. That don't make sense to me. So glad to see you recovering well. Lots of love, Gio. Have a happy birthday and many more to come. Thank you, D. Thank you. Tuesday will be 2 weeks since I had the procedure, and honestly, it wasn't a horrible like pain. It was just more so knowing that you have to be careful. Like you can't drive. You have to be mindful of how you bend, how you twist, how you turn, how you sleep. Um, you have to be mindful of the food that you're eating, because the bloating, I notice with the gas and the bloating, it is more painful because you literally just had organs removed. And when they blow your stomach up so they can see your organs when they're doing the procedure, and then the anesthesia, it's a lot that's being moved. And then, heck, they put a catheter in. So it's a lot of stuff going on, and you're still healing this entire time. And a lot of times, what works the best is just laying down. I'm not even gonna lie. Lay your butt down in your bed, go to sleep, and relax. Because what I notice is anytime that I overexert myself, that's when it gets, you feel the pain, the bloating, the pressure, the soreness all at once. So a lot of times it is like I've been sleeping a lot. I ain't even gonna lie. I've been getting like 10, 12-hour sleeps. Sometimes I'll sleep the whole day. Especially like when I have to go to, case in point, this Monday, I have to go to my doctor for my post-op appointment, and more than likely I'm gonna be tired. So I know Tuesday I'm probably just gonna be in the bed, because I notice anytime that you got to do a lot of moving, you sitting down in one position, and you can't, especially with the incisions, you got to be mindful of that. That's where get your sleep, get your rest, and just take it easy. I was recovering with you. I had an emergency surgery also, so thanks for the videos you helped me get through. Oh wow. Sending you love and positive energy, and I hope that you are resting and healing and recovering well too. And you're right, I couldn't do most of what you just said. I've got 2 weeks to go. Okay, take your time, rest, relax, drink your water, tea. What they told me is hot liquids help. So I've been trying to drink like a lot of hot tea. I've been doing lemon and ginger, the chamomile tea. I've also did like the caramel black vanilla tea, and then I will do coffee, which I do coffee because that helps with the bowels. I'm gonna keep it real. When you come out of surgery, I didn't have a bowel movement for like a day, and then I couldn't go to the bathroom on my own, which is why they didn't let me leave that night. And then I finally was able to do that. So yeah, get them liquids in, get them liquids in. Also, heating pads. Heating pads help a lot. Just make sure that you don't fall asleep with the heating pad. Make sure you turn it off, because you don't want to burn yourself, catch something on fire, and all of that. And I hope you're feeling good, and I hope these next 2 weeks go by smoothly for you. Me, full recovery for my procedure is typically 8 to 12 weeks. So I still have 6 weeks basically until I'm going to be back. And then that's providing that your doctor signs off on you, because some people's bodies heal differently. So, but I'm hoping that in the next 6 weeks, I'll be able to get back into a lot of different things. Like right now, I still technically have 1 more week until I can drive by myself on my own, because it's 3 weeks of no driving. And then what else? You can't lift over 10 pounds. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm just waiting, waiting it all out. And Nicholas, thank you. Herbal teas and medicines, yes. One more thing, Gio, you motivate me to ask for a raise, and I got it. Yes, go on, D, yes. Yes, and that's another thing, and I'm gonna be doing more videos on this. I'm happy for you, congratulations, because yes, it's time to ask for raises. It's time to apply to jobs that you didn't think that you could get. Apply anyway, because at the end of the day, we are going for our worth, point blank, period. And then Nicholas, papaya seed to help with. Thank you. I didn't even know that. Thank you, Nicholas. I'm gonna look up seeing if I can get some papaya seeds, because oh my god. Because what I've noticed is, like, since the surgery, if I eat something, like, mind you, I've already have IBS and Crohn's and Graves, so I already have issues with food and digesting, stomach issues, gastrointestinal issues. But since the surgery, what I've noticed is if I eat something that causes me to be gassy or bloated, it hurts on my side, which ironically enough, I have an incision right here. So I notice I'll feel the pain in this area, like right over where this incision is at. And it's like a sharp pain, but the minute you finally get to go to the bathroom and have that bowel movement, it dissipates. But that's just it. You might not be able to have that bowel movement for the whole night. So now the whole night you're in discomfort. So when thank you. I'm gonna look at getting them papaya seeds for real. Thank you, Nicholas. Um, but I'm glad that you're able to get that raise. Go for your worth. You deserve it. Go for your worth. I mean that because it just don't make no sense. Like with the cost of living today, inflation, in my opinion, people need to be making $30 an hour or more after taxes and deductions to actually be able to live a quality life. And even then, that depends on where you're located and that depends on your setup. Like, for example, if you're living in California and you have children, you're going to need more than $30 an hour after taxes and deductions to live. But for someone like myself, no kids, living in Michigan, I would be doing pretty decent if I was making $30 an hour after taxes and deductions. So it does a lot of it depends on where you live and your setup. But that's just something to think. Yes, thank you, D. 30 plus. I agree. Because right now where I'm at, I make $14.92 an hour and it's garbage. So I'm already planning my exit. That's another thing. I'm gonna keep it real. While I'm on medical leave, I am applying for jobs. I'm applying for jobs. I'm working on my resume, and then I'm also working on asking for a raise as well. Because another thing that doesn't make sense at my job, this is completely off topic, but kind of on topic. We had our performance reviews done back in August. I got really good performance reviews from my vice president, who's my direct supervisor. And I'm thinking, okay, where's the raise? Y'all constantly talking about how great things are going, and the only thing y'all want to give us is $25 gift cards and cupcakes like we're 5 years old at a kindergarten birthday party, instead of giving us raises that we need so we can actually live out here. Not to mention, I've been at this place for 1 year now. I've been here for a year and haven't gotten a raise yet. So yeah, I'm definitely looking at getting away from here and going into something that's more lucrative and also something that has a better work-life balance, because I don't get how we have basically 5-6 different job roles but we're only paid one low salary. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I totally agree. But yes, so what I mean by people who are always, what gets on my nerves is, yes, pizza parties and free donuts like we kids. Like, are you kidding me? We need raises. And when I say raises, I'm talking 10 to 20% increases. Not no dang 3% merit increase that you can't even tell. Like, no, we need significant raises because the cost of living is bonkers. A lot of us are literally living check to check. A lot of us are robbing Peter to pay Paul, and we deserve better. But another part of this that I wanted to talk about was people who, because I run into this a lot, and that's kind of what I was getting to before we started talking about all the other stuff, but like people who will make plans with you, and then every time it gets close to the actual day of the event, they all of a sudden have all of these issues and they no longer can do what they said that they were going to do with you. Now, here's the thing. Life happens. So I know everything isn't going to go as planned, which that's another great lesson on the road to 30. Be prepared for the unexpected, because a lot of times things are not going to go as planned. At least in my experience, things have not always gone as planned. And when you are prepared for things not to go as planned, you don't, in my opinion, you don't get as hurt or upset about it because you kind of already knew that this was a possibility. So you probably already had a plan B, a plan C, you feel me? So it makes it easier to deal with. Yes, they ghost you. Yes. So every time, and I have a few different people who do this. Every time, and what the out cold part is, they are the ones reaching out to you. That's what doesn't make sense. They are the ones coming to you with the plans. And then every time it gets close to the plan, it's some bogus excuse for why we can't do what we were going to do. And again, life happens. So I get things happen, things pop up. Sometimes you do got to change your plans. You got to reschedule things. But the problem is when this is a reoccurring thing. Like every time that we're supposed to hang out, you always have something happen. And it's a renege. But then later on, which sometimes it's the same day or the very following day, you are going to these events, going to this club, going to this party, going to this gathering, but you told me the reason we couldn't hang out was because you were sick. And this is something that's always happening. So again, I'm just at the point now where I pay attention to how people's behaviors, and that's why I don't waste my time trying to hang out with this person. I'm just keep it real. And now I pretty much know how you move. No shade to you, because a lot of times people don't even realize their own flip-floppy behavior. They don't even realize that the behavior that they're participating in is toxic. I'm just going to keep it real. They don't. Especially if this is something that they're always doing. They probably don't even realize it. But I realize you are not respectful of other people's time. You're constantly setting up events. And then every time we're supposed to do something, you never fall through on the plans that you reached out to me about. So I don't waste my time trying to hang out with you anymore. Okay. And this person has been doing this the entire time I've known them. So it's just like, here we are 8 months later and it's the same setup. So I just don't really, now I'm just like, yeah, this person is flighty. So I'm not going to put a bunch of energy and effort into trying to be around them. I'm going to just keep it real. I don't have time for that. You know, and a lot of this does, I'm going to be real, a lot of this does come from my abandonment issues because, like I said, I didn't really have a mother and a father. You know, I love my mom, you know, but being a real parent, no. So I'm used to being abandoned and pretty much ghosted and basically being independent and doing things on my own because people are flighty. I'm just going to be real. And for me, dealing with people who constantly do that, it does kind of reactivate that abandonment wound. And I have to work on that for myself. But then I also realize I can't deal with people who are like that 24/7. So I have to distance myself altogether. I don't have time for people who want to play on other people's time. I don't have time for that. Oh, Nicholas, I'm sorry. Like, for real. I didn't have parents. My mother was abusive. Hate her. Sending you love, for real. And I can get where you're coming from. And my daddy ain't a daddy, and I understand that as well. Like I have no contacts with my sperm donor, and I don't waste my time trying to do that because again, they chose to be deadbeats. Which is another reason why I am pro-choice. Because a lot of this could be avoided by allowing, in my opinion, a lot of this can be avoided by allowing people to have abortions. Because a lot of these people that are having kids, they have no business having children. You're not mentally stable. You're not financially stable. You're not in a committed relationship. You don't have a stable or a healthy family unit. You got all of these people just and I'm just gonna keep it real. In my opinion, a lot of us were one night stands. Okay, and then it doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm pro-choice. In fact, you can almost pretty much say that I'm pro-abortion. Because it doesn't make sense to me to be sitting up having kids that you don't want. Again, a lot of this was wham, bam, thank you. And then the person got pregnant and found out later, oh, I missed my period. Uh-oh. And I say it all the time. People get mad at me, but I don't care. I wish my mom would have had an abortion. Because you know what? She was not ready for no child. It's obvious. And it's not fair that we have to be born into these dysfunctional, out of chaos situations. And then we are then living in unnecessary trauma, neglect, and abuse. And then we have to spend our 20s and 30s trying to heal from childhood trauma that we should have never went through in the first place. So again, if you know you don't have the money, you don't have the financial stability, the mental stability, you don't have a decent family situation, family unit, support group, abort. Okay, this is why I'm pro-choice and I'm fighting for reproductive rights and freedoms for everybody. Because it's ridiculous. Don't make sense to keep creating kids that's going to grow up in trauma. Like, no. Yes, narc parents are still off their chip. Yes. And then you got all these just narcissistic, emotionally immature, unavailable folks that will have kids and then turn around and project all of their toxic negativity onto the child. Like, no. I totally get where, Nicholas, where you coming from, and D, don't have kids, period, preach. Listen, that's why I had this procedure. I'm going to just keep it real. Well, I had this procedure for a couple of reasons. Number one, being intersex, and being born intersex, I was having discomfort my entire life with that. And then at being out now, living my truths as a trans man, and being on gender affirming hormones, typically after 3 to 5 years, it's recommended that you get a histo because a lot of people do start having a lot of complications. And it's like, just get rid of that. Like, just get rid of it. Another reason is I don't want kids. Never wanted them. Never wanted to give birth, never wanted to be pregnant, never wanted that BS. It was never something that I saw as, a positive. I'm going to just keep it real. So I used the privileges and resources that I have, and I made sure to get that procedure done, a laparoscopic hysterectomy. And I talk more about it on my giofvcks YouTube channel. But yeah, I took the steps to do that because I was just like, no. And mind you, I had an IUD implanted in July of 2020, but I was just like, And then with everything up in the air about reproductive rights, healthcare freedoms, transgender healthcare, gender affirming care, with everything on the chopping board, I was like, you know what? I'd rather be safe than sorry. You can go on and take this. And then my ovaries weren't even 4 centimeters. Like, one ovary was 2 centimeters and some change. Another one was 3 centimeters and some change. They were very small, which is why I was able to get the laparoscopic hysterectomy. And okay, this is going to be, trigger warning. I'm about to show some incisions. They're not like gross, in my opinion. They don't look like horrible, but they're incisions. So trigger warning. Okay, so I've got 4. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. The one here is the one that is hard when you touch it. These are not hard when you touch it. So I hope this is okay. But I go Monday for them to check to see if there's any problems. Now, mind you, I had my gallbladder removed in 2018. So this surgery is not exactly the same, but it's similar in the sense that it's not as you're not getting cut up. You know what I mean? There are small incisions. They use a microscope to go in, and then they have the robots basically performing the procedure, and that's that. but this one is hard. That's what I've noticed. And then you kind of have like an indent from that side too. But that's what it looks like. And they take it and boom boom, you done. Um but yeah, I just know for me, I knew I didn't want to have no kids. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of that because that's not gonna be my story. Um I understand where you're coming from, Nicholas. Yes. And this is why I'm so big on bodily autonomy. People should have the right over their own bodies to say what they want to do with their bodies and what they don't want to do. Excuse me. What they want to do with their bodies and what they don't want to do with their bodies. That I totally agree with. Which is why I'm pro-choice. People who want children and can actually take care of children correctly in a healthy manner should have the right to have those children. People who don't want children should have the right to not have children. And to me, that's just common sense. Wouldn't you want people who actually want their kids to have kids versus people who are literally unable to take care of their children and straight up telling you that they don't want kids to have kids? That doesn't make sense to me. Because you're literally putting children in harm's way when you sit down and think about it. Okay, I would rather have been birthed to people who wanted me and were prepared for me than somebody who had no business having me and didn't have the right setup to have me. Just being real. D, I have 3 and my youngest turned 20. If I could do it over, I would have picked better partners. Well, you know what, D? Congratulations on you, because the children are adults. They're adults now. And listen, sending you nothing but love. It's amazing that you were able to raise your 3 children. You got them to adulthood. And I respect that you're able to reflect and look back and be like, I wish I would have picked better partners. And that's another thing. I get where you're coming from, because I feel like, again, with a lot of, like my mom, should have had a better partner. I mean, and then to me, what I don't understand about the whole pro-choice, pro-life situation is there's no accountability for cis men who willingly go out here and ejaculate in people. No condoms, no birth control, know that they're ejaculating, creating unwanted pregnancies, not to mention spreading STDs and STIs, but creating unwanted pregnancies. They're never held accountable. They can go and be deadbeats and basically abort live human beings, because at this stage, we are actually alive and here. We're not a fetus. We're actually human beings at this stage, and they're able to abort live human beings and never be held accountable. But then everybody wants to get on cis women or anybody that has a vagina and ovaries that can give birth. That's who gets crucified and demonized. But the person that's going around ejaculating in everybody is able to get off scot-free, and there's no accountability whatsoever. That is bullshit, in my opinion. Again, a lot of these cis men need to get vasectomies. I'm going to just keep it real. Because you are not responsible. You're never being held accountable for these unwanted kids. And it's ridiculous. You're able to go off and live your life. Meanwhile, you got us going on ancestors.com and shit to do DNA tests so we can find out who the deadbeat is. Like, come on, y'all. It's ridiculous. Thank you. It was hard. I love my babies, but the bums I dated, and I'm accountable for that also. I respect that. And Nicholas, as sad as this is, you speak truth. And straight people. That's a whole nother video. We're gonna be doing videos. The videos where I talk more about like LGBTQ plus, human sexuality, gender. That I'm gonna do more of those videos on my giofvcks page, because that's kind of what that page is more so about. But I will talk about it on here as well. But yes. Case in point, this whole situation, reciprocity. How are we gonna be having sex? The person is having unprotected sex. They willingly ejaculate in you. You become pregnant, or you get somebody pregnant. You impregnate somebody. The reciprocity would be, number one, if y'all decide to keep the fetus and go through the fetus turning into a baby, the reciprocity would be the other person needs to step up and support you and support the child. That's what the reciprocity is. Even if y'all aren't in a committed relationship, right? Because I don't really care for the cis heteronormative mess either. You don't have to have a mother and a father, a man and a woman. It could just be a healthy family unit, a healthy support unit for the child. That's what the key factor is for me. But the reciprocity piece is, even if y'all not together, you need to be trying to take care of that child. And that also would mean caring the person who's giving birth. And a lot of these people, they don't want to be reciprocal. They're very narcissistic, selfish, and just immature, don't really give a damn, but then want to be sitting out here coming and dumping in every damn body that they come into contact with. And then, like I said, when somebody comes to them with, hey, I'm pregnant, it's, that ain't my baby. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do that. And these are the same people who don't want to use condoms. Go figure. These are the same people, mind you, with today's technology and, all of these breakthroughs, they could have went the following day and got the person that could potentially become pregnant a plan B. And I'm here to tell you, condoms are a lot cheaper than a plan B pill. But okay, you can get 3 condoms for like $4 or $5 or less, sometimes free. Meanwhile, a plan B pill, if you're going to like a Rite Aid, a CVS, a Walmart, it's gonna run you $40 to $50 for one pill. If you're going to like a Planned Parenthood, you might be able to get it for $20, $25. Or one of these clinics in the area, you might be able to get it for $20 to $25. But if you're just going to a regular retail pharmacy place, it's typically $40 to $50. So like I said, wouldn't it be cheaper to just use the condom? But I'll say this, $40 to $50 is a lot cheaper than trying to raise a child that you did not want, that you were not prepared for. So that's why I'm like, come on, y'all. We after a while, we do gotta, I agree. I don't understand why folks just can't be honest. I don't get it. It pisses me off. Yes, it's like, be direct. Keep it real. What are we getting out of lying? Other than the fact that you are a liar and a manipulator and you're getting off on not being upfront and honest with this person. And a lot of people don't want to take accountability for the toxicity that they bring and that they participate in. This is something that I've been learning through my 20s. And it's just like, I don't have time for Nicholas, American. Low-key, I do kind of feel like it is. Nicholas, I agree. I do think it has a lot to say about American culture. Because it's just like, what in the world? Everything is passive-aggressive. Everybody's coming in with all of these hidden agendas instead of just keeping it real. People will know they have STDs and STIs and still go out here and have unprotected sex with people, willingly knowing that they're spreading STDs and STIs. And it doesn't help that we don't have universal health care. So people don't even have health care coverage or insurance so they can actually go and get tested. And then if they do have an infection or a disease or an STI or an STD, they can't even get it treated. Can't even get medication because they don't have health care insurance. So it's a janky situation across the board. That part, D, I'm with you. I have more respect for honesty. Same. I would much rather you keep it real with me and be honest and upfront than for you to sit up and play games and manipulate and lie to me. And Nicholas, you are right. LGBTQ plus centers, if they're in your area, typically you can go and get Plan Bs, condoms, HIV testing, STI, STD testing for free, and sometimes treatment. Yup. In LA, Nicholas, free HIV. Oh, sorry about that. Trying to read it. Okay. Free HIV testing and STI and treatment in LA. That's amazing. Where I'm at, I used to work at a place that did free HIV testing, the rapid test with the finger prick. And we also tested for some STIs. It was gonorrhea, chlamydia. I think syphilis. I'm not 100% sure. We only tested for a few because one was the finger prick for the rapid HIV test, and then the other one was urine. This Nicholas, I'm gonna be honest with you. HIV rates are picking back up, and the ironic part about it is it's the cisgendered heterosexuals who are now starting to become the largest group for HIV. And that's because they marketed and branded HIV as something that only gay people got, not completely forgetting the fact that, let's just keep it real, you have a lot of cis men who are not upfront about their sexuality. It is what it is. You have a lot of cis men who sleep with other men, but then they identify as heterosexual, which they can do that, but they're not using condoms. They're not, and then they're going right back to the other people that they're sleeping with, who are typically cis women, and spreading STIs and STDs. And a lot of cis women have a hard time getting on PrEP because doctors are very much homophobic and sexist and misogynistic. So it's something to think about. And yes, PrEP, y'all. Pre-exposure prophylaxis. I take one daily pill every single day. This is the generic version, but I also have had Truvada. It just depends on what your healthcare insurance is willing to cover and, okay. But pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP. One daily pill. And it can help you prevent yourself from contracting HIV. Because you can't believe, in my opinion, you cannot believe anything that people say these days. People can tell you all day that they just went and had a full STD panel, and they could be completely telling the truth, or they could be completely lying to you. So yes, and PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis. If you feel, PEP is basically the plan B for HIV. Okay, so if you feel that you were at risk for contracting HIV, you can take PEP up to 72 hours from that sexual encounter, and it will help you prevent yourself from contracting HIV. And then for people who are living with HIV, who are HIV positive, once again, this is why we need universal health care. Like Dee said, we need universal health care. For people who are living with HIV, if they're able to get into care right away and get on treatment and get the right medication regimen that works well for them and their body, okay, that's good for them. If they're taking their medications for at least 6 months, they can become undetectable. And when they're undetectable, they can't transmit HIV. U equals U. And this is another reason why we need universal health care and why we need more, in my opinion, more comprehensive sexual education, because a lot of people have no idea about these things. And then, like I said, it's a lot of cis-het people who are now the ones spreading HIV like wildfire because they don't think that they're at risk for it, because it's literally been the homophobia. It's been marketed as, oh, only gay people have to deal with that, or only trans people deal with that, or only LGBT. Meanwhile, you got all of these cis-het people walking around with HIV and don't even know it. Don't even know it. And D, oh my God, living straight, sleeping other. Exactly. You have a lot of people who are like that. And yes, I can agree that homophobia plays a role in why people are living double lives, but I can't justify somebody lying about who they are, their sexuality, and then going out and sleeping with women and then unprotectedly at that, and then bringing back drama and unnecessariness when you could have just kept it real and or used the damn condom. Like, what? It's just too much. So I advocate for everybody, regardless of your gender or sexuality, to get on PrEP. Okay? Because it makes no sense in this day and age that we are still talking about HIV. It just doesn't. It doesn't. And it makes no sense in this day and age that we are still having unwanted children and having unwanted pregnancies. It just doesn't make sense anymore. You know, we need universal health care and we need comprehensive sexual education. D then want to get mad when someone outs them. You know, and it's a touchy topic, because on one side, it's not our business to out people, and honestly, we shouldn't be doing that. But then on another side, you can't get mad when you sitting up lying to people and putting people's health at risk. You can't get mad when somebody outs you at that point, because you literally lied to them the entire damn time. And it's like, come on. And then my thing is, you out yourself, because sooner or later, she's going to realize that she has an STD. And where did she get that from? Because she was actually monogamous. You the one that was stepping out. So sooner or later, you're going to out yourself any damn way. That's what gets me. It's just so stupid after a while. And D, I get both sides, but be honest in the first place. And exactly, just keep it real. And the out code part about it, to the cis men who always complain about the homophobia, because homophobia is real. Biphobia is real, but that's just it. Transphobia is real, but that's just it. Why aren't you talking to the women that actually accept you? Instead, you willingly go and talk to women that you know only want to be with heterosexual men. So why don't you go talk to other bisexual women, other pansexual women? It's always crickets when that happens. Y'all willingly go and talk to people that you know don't want what you are bringing. So come on. And that's the same thing I feel as a trans person. It's like, okay, there's a lot of transphobic people who don't want to talk, don't want to date trans folks, don't want to be seen in public with trans folks. And I get it. Okay, it hurts. It's transphobic. It's ignorant. But that's just it. Why am I going to waste my time talking to people who don't want me? I'm going to go talk to people who are not transphobic. So after a while, it's like, come on, you know, I'm not going to waste my time talking to somebody that constantly misgenders me, doesn't see me as a man, doesn't want shit to do with me. I'm going to go talk to somebody that does. Okay, a lot of us also need to kind of look in the mirror some damn times. Stop going to what doesn't serve you. Again, it's not reciprocated. So stop going to what doesn't serve you. And yes, women also have disease and give it to me. Yes, cis women, trans women, yes, can also have STDs, STIs, can also purposely be trying to get impregnated. This is very true. Very true. Just seen it. What's going on? Just seen it. Good afternoon. You've been really dropping the knowledge, bro. Thank you, Just Seen It. Thank you. And Nicholas, very true. It's just people need, regardless of gender and sexuality, people need to take accountability for their own health. And then at the same time, in my opinion, we need to have better social programs and support so people can truly take accountability for their health. Because it's hard to take accountability for your health if you don't have health care insurance. How you going to see a doctor? How you going to get any type of testing or treatment? You got to have access to it. And then two, we need to be teaching comprehensive sexual education. I don't understand how in this day and age, you still got people shocked that if they have unprotected sex, that they're going to catch something or they're going to get somebody pregnant or they're going to become pregnant. The fact that we still got people who don't really understand that any time, and really, and even the whole unprotected sex, safe sex, even that whole terminology, in my opinion, is problematic and outdated. Because in my opinion, if we're keeping it real, in my opinion, there's no such thing as safe sex. Every time you have sex, you're putting yourself at risk. It is what it is. Because keep in mind, condoms break. You know, you can have a condom on and they can break. And really, at this point, it's about using harm reduction methods. So, like, the condom is a harm reduction method. It can help reduce the likelihood of you becoming pregnant or getting someone pregnant. It can help reduce the likelihood of you contracting an STD, an STI, or transmitting an STD, an STI. But in my opinion, there's no such thing as safe sex. So, I mean, I just, even that whole, unprotected, you can have protected sex and still end up with something. Okay. So I kind of think it is kind of, problematic even using that term. And I mean, at this day and age, I realize that every time I engage in sex, I'm putting myself at risk. And that's just me on a personal level. But yeah, it's just, yeah. And then, yes, Nicholas, will you preach? Treat the issue, not the gender. And I don't get why straight people keep saying you ain't a girl or not a man when all they say I'm a woman or a man. Do they know their gender? That part. And then what don't make sense to me is when you have these transphobic folks who do all of this, they themselves don't even live up to their own closed-minded views of gender. You got all of these men, for example, who are very transphobic, right? But yet you're not a provider. You're not strong. You're not tough. You're not 6 feet or taller. You yourself don't even live up to your own made up shit. Quite frankly, you got a lot of feminine ass dudes today. So they themselves don't even live up to their own damn gender norms. But yet they want to sit up and police how you live your life. Ain't that some shit? You sitting up, you a man, but your woman is taking care of you and paying all the bills. But you trying to tell somebody else what they are because you're transphobic. Make it make sense. I cannot stand the double standards and the hypocrisy. Okay? Preach. Just seen it. I agree there's no safe sex. Listen, in my opinion, there isn't. And then D, I'm pro mind your yes, your business. If everyone would do that, it would be a better universe. Folks need to take care of themselves and be mindful when sleeping with others. Preach, preach, preach. And yes, that part. Know who you are. Thank you. Thank y'all, for real. And yes, monkeypox. Monkeypox has actually been declining globally. And I wonder why. Because that's just it. And it's funny to me, right? Because they always want to talk all this trash about the LGBTQ plus community. But yet the LGBTQ plus community, we got up off our asses and instantly was letting people know this is how monkeypox is contracted. Here's a vaccine. Here's the vaccine dates where you can go and get your vaccine. We mobilized and got on our butts. Meanwhile, we couldn't do that with COVID because everybody wants to sit up and take these very individual approaches instead of looking at how this impacts everybody in the community. We actually got up and was like, you know what? We saw what y'all did to us with HIV in the 80s. We're not finna have a repeat of that. So we're going to nip this in the bud. Can't say that about the cishet community. That's all I'm going to say. Because you got a lot of cishet people who ended up contracting monkeypox. Because once again, the homophobia, they made it seem like this was just between gay men or men sleeping with men and trans people and LGBT. And then come to find out, like we already knew, monkeypox is not a STI. It's not an STD. It's not a sexually transmitted infection or disease. This is literally skin-to-skin contact. So you got a lot of people that ended up with monkeypox and didn't realize that they had monkeypox because they were, I'm cisgendered, I'm heterosexual, I'm not a part of the LGBT. Yet they sitting up with monkeypox. Ooh, Lord. Anyways, y'all, again, I want to leave off with saying Relationships, regardless if they're platonic, romantic, business, whatever it may be, in my opinion, they need to be reciprocal. There's only a few relationships in my mind that I can justify them not being reciprocal. For example, you're a parent and you have a child. Your child doesn't owe you shit. Okay, you the one that decided to have the child. So that's the only time where I can say, okay, that typically isn't going to be reciprocal. Would it be nice in the future when they're an adult and they're able to, help you here and there later on in life? Yes. But that's probably the only relationship where they don't have to reciprocate anything. But these relationships that you are having with your significant other, people that you're dating and getting to know, your friends, your family, these need to be reciprocal. Not all it is one-sided. You doing all of the work. You always reaching out. But yet when anything is going on with you, they're nowhere to be found. That ain't cool. That ain't cool. Okay? And indeed, they make everything the face of LGBT and black people. Yes! Well, y'all preach. Everything that is deadly, that is scary, that is negative, they make sure to put black people, people of color, brown people, Hispanic, Latino, African American, black, what have you, and the LGBTQ plus as the focal point of that group has the most rates of this and that and that. And it's like, meanwhile, you got all of these white people dying from monkeypox, COVID. Like, COVID is ravishing their community. They're also getting HIV and diabetes and cancer, but nobody talks about them. And then you got all these cishet people who are literally becoming the new face of HIV. Literally. And then we got all of these STIs and STDs. The rates have been going up over the past 2 to 3 years. And a lot of these are cishet people. It's not to say that LGBT people aren't also getting HIV and other STDs and STIs. It's not to say that black people and brown people and Hispanic and Latino and Native American, indigenous people of color aren't getting these diseases and infections, but we are not the only people. And a lot of times, in comparison to the numbers, it ain't that many of us as it is. So obviously, we're not going to be the majority that's getting it. But yet, they get on social media, they get on the news, the radio, whatever media, and then they just sit up and want to, spew these stories and make it seem like only this group is getting blah, blah, blah. And they're also getting it. And there's more of them. So the likelihood of them getting it is more likely to occur. So it's just like, what is this? Now I can say that we disproportionately have high rates for us to be such a small population. But my goodness. It's just really wild to me. But yes, so thank y'all for tuning in this afternoon. I got a few dishes I need to wash. I'm gonna make my bed, feed the dogs, clean up a little bit, get paperwork and stuff ready for tomorrow's doctor appointment. And I will definitely have more videos to come. I really do enjoy doing the live streams more personally, because like you can actually engage with people and actually have like a back and forth conversation. So I appreciate that. And I hope y'all have a good day, a good afternoon, morning, evening, night, wherever you are watching this. Hope you are safe and you have a good day, and I hope you have a good week. And a nice, lovely, fun, healthy, safe, productive, joyful week. Go blue, go blue. You already know it is go blue all day. Okay, yes. And then there's going to be a lot more Road to 30 videos. And then I'm also going to try to do Road to 30 and then just lessons that I've learned over the past 30 years on TikTok as well. And Libra season, happy birthday to everybody that's a Libra. It is our season. It's finally our season. So happy birthday. And yes, y'all be safe and sound, and I'm out.